Canada's main stock index opened higher on Thursday, lifted by gains in financial stocks, a day after the Bank of Canada hiked interest rates for the second time this year. The Toronto Stock Exchange's S. Hydro One stock fell 5.2% after its board and CEO resigned under pressure from the newly elected provincial Conservative government. Story continues below. Advertisement. 8 of the TSX's 11 sectors were higher. Tech stocks gained 1.3%. Earthcast gained 4.3%, Shopify was up 2.1% and BlackBerry added 1.3%. Healthcare added 0.9%. Canopy Growth was up 2.3% and Knight Therapeutics rose 1.4%. Financial stocks rose 0.4% as Intact Financial added 1.1%, Sun Life gained 0.6% and Bank of Montreal was up 0.6%. U.S. stocks opened higher on Thursday, recovering from a sell-off a day earlier as higher oil prices and merger activity helped offset fears of a Sino-U.S. trade war. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 102.45 points, or 0.41%, at the open to 24,802.90 PS. The Nasdaq Composite gained 36.10 points, or 0.47%, to 7,752.71 at the opening bell. Broadcom fell 17.5% after the chipmaker's $18.9 billion deal to buy business software maker CA Inc. caught investors and analysts by surprise. CA's shares jumped 18.1%. Comcast, up 0.8%, made a $34 billion bid for Sky, trumping an offer from 21st Century Fox. Shares of Rupert Murdoch's company slid 0.2%. Story continues below. Advertisement. Markets were rattled on Wednesday after the United States threatened to impose tariffs on an additional $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. China said Thursday the two countries have not been in touch about restarting negotiations, and while it does not want a trade war, it would fight if necessary. While markets have typically reacted negatively to any escalation on trade, the overall impact has been relatively modest under the circumstances, which suggests investors are far from panic mode right now, Craig Lamb, senior market analyst at online forex broker Oanda, said in a note. There still seems to be some hope that common sense will prevail and a full-blown trade war will be averted. Wednesday's drop, though, was not as steep as in late March and early April when the S. Boeing and Caterpillar, among the Dow's biggest drags on Wednesday and the hardest hit by the recent trade dispute, were up about 1%. Also helping sentiment was crude oil prices recouping some ground following sharp losses in the previous session. Story continues below. Advertisement. Delta Airlines slid 1.1% after the company's quarterly profit fell less than expected. Delta, though, slashed its full-year earnings forecast as fuel costs surged. Overall, the earnings season kicks off in earnest on Friday, when big Wall Street banks JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo and Citigroup report results. Shares of all three banks were up about 0.7%. Weekly jobless claims hit a two-month low last week, according to a Labor Department report, in a sign that labor market conditions remained robust in early July. While consumer prices barely rose in June, the underlying trend continued to point to a steady build-up of inflation pressure that could keep the Federal Reserve on a path of gradual interest rate increases. With files from Reuters.